Greetings. I just want to tell you about the reggae dollar. It's an old idea, and I'm glad to launch it now. Here in Reggae Month 2026, Yeah, love to do that. The reggae dollar is a fundraising tool. Okay, it's a fundraising tool. It's a continuous, consistent fundraising tool, which means that we are constantly raising funds and putting money aside for a rainy day or a hurricane day if you want. All right? That makes sense to people now, right? So that we don't have to raise funds and make, you know, the good old whatever we do all the time. There's a hurricane, right? The reggae dollar is constantly there, money being put aside, right? So how does it work? Basically, to put it in reggae terms, you could look at it as a kind of like a ticket to a better world. You keep buying this ticket, a ticket to a better society. You keep buying that ticket, and you keep investing the money there, right? So you're spending on us. You're spending on we ourselves. So that's how it works. You download it or you pay for it online and it gets sent to you, or you buy it physically or in different ways, but you do get to buy the reggae dollar. Or, and That's how it goes. Like everything can be sold online. You can buy it from my platform to begin with, but where we really want it to be sold from is from a platform created in Trenchtown by the people who are part of this reggae legacy, you know. And I'm going to read out a letter to you later on that I've written to the Prince, His Majesty's grandson, and to the Minister of Finance in Jamaica, as well as the Prime Minister, and also to Babsy Grange, you know, yeah, and then to all the reggae artists who we call the royalty, right? So those are the people who I'm gonna need to set up the central Reggae Dollar headquarters in Trenchtown. You know, the headquarters of the Reggae Dollar has to be in Trenchtown. So wherever the Reggae Dollar is sold all over the world for whatever cause, for whatever reason, I'll get back to that later, but for whatever cause, whatever reason, 20% must always go to Trenchtown. It's like with your credit card, there's a 5% that always go to a certain banking system or whatever. So whatever transaction you have, there's a 5% that goes somewhere. So you can imagine that if 8 billion people are, 5% of 8 billion or 5% of 8 billion buying at X amount always goes to somewhere. That's not us, you know. So it's the same thing that we want to do for the reggae dollar. The buy a reggae dollar percentage goes, but I think 5% is too little because won't be selling as much all the time constantly. Well, it'd be nice if we could, but I don't think we are going to. So we say 20%. We could take it lower down. I mean, if the more reggae dollars we sell, I think it should go down. From 20% to 15%, 10% until it reach 5%. That just means that we're selling more volumes of it, right? Yeah, so that's the idea. It's a fundraising tool that's always there. So it goes into a common kitty, and the Rastas must organize around it, and it must be transparent for all Rastas and all reggae lovers around the world. And so we update it so we know where the money is going. But it's going to be online, so it's going to be very transparent, for all of us. The way I set it up is the example of how it must be set up. So I'm not doing it just for me, I'm doing it for all of I, but mostly for His Imperial Majesty, right? Because obviously this is what we're supposed to do. We're a Rasta nation. We're rising now, aren't we? We're rising now. So let's rise. You know what I'm saying? Why don't we just rise and take care of ourselves? See, it's an old idea, and I'd set it up a while back together with a gentleman in London who I contacted, who has been my friend on Facebook for a long time. So in 2020, around April 2020, I got in touch with him. His name was Paul Lawrence. Unfortunately, Paul died. People from London will know Paul Lawrence. He started 100 Men in London, people who were tutoring young people in London and being there, successful black men who were there to basically, how could I say, mentor young black men, because we have the problems that we have in the community in London, and those are the type of things that he did, and he was very good at speaking with the community and everything and all of that. And actually, on the day that he died, he was on his way. I remember it very well. I cried so much. He was on his way to an interview, I think, with the BBC on the 11th of December. He was going to that interview. On the morning, on his way to that interview, he collapsed and died. We don't know what happened. I miss him madly because of how he was very well. I'll talk about Paul at another time. Let me get to the reggae dollar. But he's from Spanish Town, Jamaica, and he was in England for a good time doing some things. And the things that he did were connected. I think he was connected with a Gleaner, based in London, as far as remittances to Jamaica. So he was part of that. And he also had his ticket sales platform called Just Tickets. Do you remember that? So he had actually made a profile for the Reggae Dollar on Just Tickets. So I really thought we were going to fly and really get things going, and I was so happy because he was one person who, when I took the idea to him, and he's the one who said to me, "Oh, so you want a constant fundraising tool?" Because I said it many more words than that, but he boiled it down and said a fundraising tool like that, and it was like, wow, fantastic. So I just want to kind of like get into the roots of it because we're roots. We got to stay roots, right? We got to talk the way things are so that people can see there's a connection. It's not a scam and just somebody come with some funny idea here. I'm a youth who's serious about doing things up rightfully. But the father now, the father is something else. So now, knowing Paul all these years and seeing his comments and everything and all of that, and seeing that he's a guy who basically says things and ruffles a few feathers when he talks and stuff like that. Um, when he passed away, I remember it very well because the 10th of December is a Human Rights Day. So I was up doing something and posting something, a video like this, and then the next day I was expecting to get in touch with Paul, but he passed away. So when he passed away, I really grieved. Really, I did. And sorry about that. I really grieved. So I felt that I had to go and do some research on his Facebook, which I did. And then when I checked it out, oh my God, this man had actually gone to my country of birth, Zambia. You know, he had gone to the Lozi Kingdom, and I don't know if it took. I think he took part in the Kuomboka ceremony and everything, and he's there riding on elephants, sitting on the king's throne everything, and I was just like, Paul Lawrence. Oh my God! When I saw those things, you can go on his page, I believe. I cried even more. So it was such a loss, for our infrastructure as a people, especially in London and well, all over really. And we still mourn Paul Lawrence. So that's just the thing that I want to say. Um, I just like to ask the elders and the people involved. There's a letter that I'm writing to the government and to His Imperial Majesty, and and that explains things in that way. But with this video, I want to be kind of like roots with the people, and to say, look, and we have what's the name, Mojiba say, the daughter of Count Ozzy's daughter. She's known of my plans in Trenchtown, well, in Jamaica for a while, and through her and others, they can do the process of finding who are the right elders to really be the ones to create this account or common kitty or organization around the reggae dollar. As His Majesty says, we must organize and centralize, and money is the blood of our economy. It's the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? It's the currency. We got to have it, or we need to. Once we have that in place, then there are many other ways that we can do to really maximize the amount of money that we can make amongst us. So poverty is not going to be a problem, and so we can elevate our mentality because of not living in poverty and not trying to hustle and bad mind and this and that and that. You know what I'm saying? The Father is good. So let's do good, and we can uplift our nice self. Anyway, the time of the Father has come now. So if you can't do it, it won't be done. So you got to know that it can be done, and you got to know it must be done. So what you don't want is to be left behind. See, love, Rastafari.